Alright guys, we're back with gonna do the slab here. Just looking at it real quick, looks to me like I'm only gonna draw out 3 pieces of this slab. Even though we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we got 11 different ones here. I'm only gonna draw out 3 of them because we can copy them, flip them, and it's gonna be the same thing. Obviously, yeah, it looks like the top and bottom one are the same here. The middle one's going to be the same, except for it's going to just get shrunk down a little bit. Um, I'm betting these two are the same measurements. It looks like they are. So we can copy this one, flip it over to there. Once we draw this one out, we can flip it down to here, and then we can either flip this one over, flip this one down, whatever. Same thing here. We draw out one, flip it over to here, flip it down to here, and then either one of these can be flipped down to here. So looks like we can do it actually pretty quickly to pick up all this slab and get everything in there. So let's just get started here. I guess I don't even know what we got here. Probably the slab going to the top of the curb wall. Yeah. And it looks like it's going to go 4 inches out on the wall at the stoops. But those are going to be on the breezeways. Yeah. Let's see if we can't find that detail. 6. Yeah, so it's just going to go up against the wall at the perimeter there and up against the curb wall. Pretty simple. So we'll just get it drawn out here. I don't know how big the doorways are here. We'll come back and worry about them later. But with the snap feature, we can just snap to all the corners here. Saves us a lot of time. Obviously, there's no corner here. We could line it up if we wanted to, but that 19 that wasn't. It was not 19.6. What was it? 18.2. But with the snap feature, we can get a lot of it drawn out really quickly. And this one here, we got to draw out. All right, so there's the 3 pieces I'm going to be drawn out for that. Now it's just a matter of getting the material set where we need it. Looks like we're going to be doing 4 inches of wash stone. We're not going to be able to dump it in there. And that's good there. Oops. We never entered our thickness. That's why we don't have our height on our edge forms. As far as edge forms go, we're really only gonna have something at them doorways. Expansion joint is gonna be everything but the doorway again. I'm just gonna leave those in for now. Yeah, they probably will knock those out. I'll check with them on that. This one here, obviously on residential work, they sure are not going to be using a stego wrap. They're going to be looking to go cheap. So we'll change those items there. It does say there's wire mesh, I believe, didn't it? Yep. We'll just leave that in there until we find out whether that is the right wire mesh or not. As far as the concrete, it comes down to number of pours and are you using a pump. Number of pours, these guys are probably, I'll come back and set the number of pours after I figure out the entire square footage. None of the floor is going to be sealed. And let's see, they do have control joints drawn out on here in a pretty odd fashion, I guess, but I guess we'll use what they got here. So we'll just match them up. And what do we got? Actually, I'm gonna leave them off. I don't think they're ever gonna cut it like that. You're certainly gonna cut to the corner of that. I'm gonna leave the rest of it off. Actually, I'm gonna take them all off. We'll worry about those. The again, the digitizer items that that already have a quantity that you can't turn on. The area ones are assuming the entire area. The linear ones are taking the entire perimeter. The segment ones, to actually really, this is one of the only segment ones that we have is the vapor barrier. It's assuming the entire area, plus it's adding in the waste for, the overlap, whatever you set that at. Wire mesh is including the overlap, and that's set in your job properties again. If you go here, that's where you can set your overlap on your wire mesh. If you go to reinforcing, welded wire fabric overlap right there. And yeah, it really, we don't need to digitize any of this. I'm going to delete the edge forms for now because we're only going to have it really at this doorway here, here, and here and here, I guess. If they decide to drop that wall, I'm going to find out what they're going to do. The details here are pretty bare, obviously, guys, so we're kind of guessing at some of it. Some of it, doesn't make a lot of sense either, like the saw cuts here, why would you not cut to that corner, obviously? So I'm going to leave that in. If I draw out the expansion joint, we're going to get the same number because we're going to do the whole perimeter. So yeah, everything's going to essentially be the same. So now it's just a matter of copying it. In this case here, we can. So we're going to go 2110 and 40'6". So the easiest way to do that with just the slab, turn everything else off, highlight it, copy it down 2110 one time, and then we're going to do the same thing again and just go 40'6" one time. This one here is going to need shrunk down. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3'6". So basically, if you did have other things drawn on here, the way to do it would be to highlight just that middle piece and then highlight everything that goes all the way down. Just go up 3'6". And well, That's middle to middle. What do I got to do? I got to go down 4. So there we go. But the bottom one was the same size, so it's already good. I guess a lot of you, most of you probably aren't going to have this nifty tool here to where you can mirror it. I'm actually working on building one. It's taken me a little while, but I'm trying to get one made. But yeah, basically I'm going to take this and click a point, come over there, and it's actually going to, you know, take everything that I had and copy it over, you know, and then, you know, then I could just take both of these and flip them down. It's going to be the same thing, but you know, there's no sense drawing these out, you know, 4, 5, 6 different times if we don't have to. You know, so basically that's how we're going to get our slab done. And, you know, same thing here. We're going to mirror this one over, flip it down. And for those of you that were watching the foundation one, we left this whole piece off because when we're all done with this piece here, we're just going to flip this thing over here or copy it over. Actually, we can copy it over because it's the same. And we don't have to do the footing, the foundation wall, the excavation. You know, we don't have to do any of it because it's all the same. So we flip the whole thing over, put it there, you know, and we've taken out the, you know, again, excavation, footing, walls, slabs, everything. You know, we don't have to digitize it again. So yeah, that's going to be about it on the slab here, guys. I just flip these around and we're going to get our total real quick. So I'll get this done. We'll come back and maybe I'll add on to that foundation video showing you how we're just going to take this whole thing and copy it over. But yeah, keep in mind that many of the assemblies have sub items that are digitizers, whether they're area, linear, segment, count, possibly. If they fill in with a value before you digitize anything, so basically if you come here and you can't turn the light bulb on, that means you've never drawn anything for any of these, but they still have a value. You know, the area ones are doing the entire area of the slab that we have. The linear is doing the entire perimeter of the slab. And if keep in mind that if we had, you know, say we were to come in here and we had a, you know, a box out or something, not only does it take the perimeter, it takes the perimeter of your cutouts also. You know, doing that provides you a short, quick way to get your things like edge forming, expansion joint. You know, it's never perfect. You know, obviously the edge forming expansion joint are going to have the same number. You're obviously not going to form and have expansion joint in the same spot. More than likely, possibly one of them is right or extremely close. In this case, you know, we just had a couple, you know, probably 3'4" doorways, I imagine, maybe 6'4" possibly. You know, that's pretty darn close. I mean, if we're off that much on expansion, that's, you know, that's very, very minimal there. If we have that much more, obviously. So yeah, just keep that in mind that those areas, you know, they're, you know, for some reason, if you know, if you want to draw out the expansion joint, you can draw it where it goes. Once you start drawing with it, it's only what you have drawn out. It will not include anything else. And I'll show you here. You know, we got 26 feet there. Once I refresh this, I only have 26 feet. It's not picking up everything that was there plus 26 feet. It's only the 26 feet. You know, something you could do if you'd like, you know, if you had your edge forms in there too. Basically on this slab, you're either going to have expansion joint or an edge form on the whole perimeter. What I've done is I've put a formula in mine that, you know, my expansion joint, you know, the formula is, you know, basically the perimeter minus the edge forms. And, you know, I don't know, 90% of the time that's right. My formula for the edge forms is the perimeter, you know, whichever one I draw out I use that as the formula. If I draw out the edge forms, it's whatever I draw, obviously. And then the expansion joint is, that, what do we have, 7 something? The 741 minus whatever I drew out for edge forms. It's a quick way, not to make me have to draw it all out, and pick it up, in most cases, 100% accurate. In 90% of the cases, it's going to be very, very close. So that's a little something you could add to it if you wanted to, if you want to add that formula in. The vapor barrier, obviously, you can see what it had here. It already figures in the overlap for waste. So we got 3% waste on the overlap. How much more do you want to add in just for general waste? I got 5%, so I'm really putting in 8% of the area on top of that. Same thing with the wire mesh is going to be the exact same thing. In this case, we were doing a 6-inch overlap on the size of sheet that I have here. That 6 inches. I go 6 inches down the side. And, say I got an 8 by 15 sheet. I got 6 inches. 8 foot long, and I got another 6 inches, 15 foot long. So I'm doing almost almost 10% waste there just on overlap. And then we got some additional waste there because we're going to be cutting pieces and throwing little scraps away, things like that. So so that's how those are figured there. There's a lot more items you could throw in here. Possibly you have you got insulation under your slab. And again, if I take this and put it in, it's going to be whatever I got for the slab is how it's going to figure it. If I only have insulation in a certain area, I would have to draw that area out. And so now when I refresh this, I've only got insulation right here. So once you start drawing, you got to draw everything that has it. If you don't draw anything, it takes area, perimeter, whatnot. We got another insulation here. That's if you just have it on the perimeter to where you can, say you got 2 feet in, 24 inches in all the way around the perimeter. Maybe that's where you would use that one. That one there. And the thermal expansion joint, that is if you're going to use if you're going to be using rigid insulation, around your perimeter in lieu of an expansion joint, basically. The only difference is that obviously the labor and the material. You got rigid insulation here instead of the expansion joint. I guess the one thing I don't have already included in here is the expansion cap, but obviously that can be dropped in because you would need that if you're gonna be sealing that. So there's many other items you could drop in. Again, if you drop a linear item into this slab, it's going to give you 741.33 feet of that item. If I were to drop in a rebar part, say a dowel, it's basically going to take that whole perimeter and put a dowel every whatever I tell it, 18 inches, 24 inches over that 741 feet, unless I draw it out. You got to keep that in mind. It doesn't know where you're putting those dowels, so until you tell it by drawing it out, it's going to assume the whole thing. So that'll be about it on the slab here. I guess if you got any questions, let us know. Otherwise, I think I'll add on to the foundation video and flip this over and show you guys how we do that and not have to draw any of this. I know it's not a huge area, but we actually got a couple other buildings on this same apartment complex that actually have this kind of same layout, but it's got like 2 of these in the middle, and then just 1 of these on the end. So really I only got to draw out 1, 2, and then I flip that one and flip this one. So it saves a ton of time, once you get used to it. And when you do that though, when you highlight those items, you got to make sure you got everything turned on. Say I didn't, say I had a, say the rigid insulation was in here too, but I didn't have it turned on. You know, when I go to copy this, it's only going to take this slab with it. You know, it's not taking that insulation because it's not turned on. If it's not turned on, and when you highlight it, it's not picking it up, obviously. So you're going to miss out on that, and then have to copy that separately or draw it back in or whatnot. So, but yeah, that'll wrap this up. If you got any questions, let us know. Thanks.